Hey guys, Nishquick here. Here we are, finally in the month of July. And you know what that means? At the end of this month, we finally get Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I've been waiting so long for this game, and ever since it was announced in February of this year, I've been eagerly waiting to finally get my hands on this game and finally play it. I'm very excited. And you know, on this channel, I usually just talk about, like, reviews, analysis of gameplay and gameplay mechanics. This time I want to delve into the story of games, and specifically Xenoblade Chronicles, the series. And I want to talk today about my top 10 favorite characters in the Xenoblade Chronicles series. So that is only going to be characters from Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, unfortunately, because I'm right now actually still playing through X. I haven't beaten the game, so I don't really think I have much to say about the characters in X yet, but I like them so far. But anyways, yeah, this is going to be my favorite characters in the series, why I like them, why I think they're well developed. And one more thing is, when you talk about the characters in the series, it's kind of hard to not mention spoilers. So what I'm going to do, so for every character on this list, I'm going to be starting off with talking about just some general non-spoiler things about what I like about them and why I think they're cool and why they're one of my favorite characters. And then after that, you will be warned on screen, and you will also be warned in the description down below with the timestamps and the YouTube timeline. I'll be getting into spoilers a little bit later as well. So for example, number 10, I will start off by introducing that character, give you like a little basis on why I like them, why I think they're so cool. After that, I'll get into spoilers. And of course, like I said, on screen you'll see the spoiler tag, and in the description you'll see the timestamp, so you'll see number 10, the character, and then you'll see number 10, spoilers. So yeah, I want to make this as spoiler friendly as possible, because I just made a video previously on like getting into the series in the first place, so I don't want anyone to like be spoiled if they're not very familiar with these characters. So yeah, that's basically all I had to say, and let's get started. And just a reminder, if you like content like this, reviews, analysis, usability studies, anything video game related, yeah, so consider liking this video, subscribing to my channel, hitting that notification bell so you stay updated on my newest uploads, and yeah, without further ado, let's get started, talk about my top 10 favorite Xenoblade Chronicles characters. Let's go. Number 10, Adam Origo from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna, the Golden Country. Throughout the entirety of the base game of Xenoblade 2, you're always told stories of the great hero Adam from Azurda, Pyra, Mithra, Minoth, and many others. Since he was alive 500 years ago, you don't really get to see him in action till the DLC prequel, Torna, the Golden Country. Before starting this short prequel of a game, I was curious what kind of person Adam would be. From what I heard in Xenoblade 2, I was expecting a headstrong, stoic, and serious hero who was the driver of the Aegis. In short, nothing really like Rex's in the base game of Xenoblade 2. What we did get was a headstrong soldier indeed in Adam, but someone who's also jovial, exuberant, and pretty comical at times. What's nice is he reminds me a lot of Zeke from the base game. 500 years later, and after being told of his heritage to Adam, Zeke portrays himself, or rather comes off as somewhat of a successor to Adam. Though he is goofy at times, Adam has a heart of gold. Loyal and steadfast, Adam is always there for his companions and close friends. His relationship with Mithra as her driver is strong and almost familial, accepting her brash and oftentimes rude attitude towards himself and others, but acting as a father figure to her to help her reach her true potential. He's also dedicated to help his other friends in need, such as Hugo, Minoth, and his new friends Laura and Jin. Throughout the game, we see a lot of Adam's struggles with being the true driver of the Aegis. As powerful as he is, he's not grasped with the true responsibility and the sheer power Mithra possesses as a blade. This is seen during the fall of the Tornin Titan. Unable to control Mithra's powerful and emotional bursts of power, Adam is forced to watch his blade lay waste to the Tornin Titan, leading to the death of his best friend Hugo, his child companion Milton, who was sort of like a son to him, and many other innocent lives. Living with guilt for the rest of his life, Adam waits to see a master driver take up his sword and do what he could never have done. And when he sees that in Rex 500 years later, he can truly rest in peace. Number 9, Dunban from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. For someone who initially started Xenoblade 1 without knowing anything beforehand, they might actually think Dunban is the true hero of the game. The game starts with you playing as him in the Battle of Sword Valley alongside Dixon and Mumkar, his fellow Homs comrades. But as the story transitions over to Shulk, Dunban does return, but this time as more of a mentor and guide to the rest of the party, like Shulk, Ryan, Charla, Melia, and I guess Ricky too. He's sort of the fatherly figure in the group, and I really appreciate that about him. I also love a lot of his battle and post-battle quotes. Dunban's role significantly strengthens post-Prison Island. He finds out his sister, who was presumed dead, is still alive, operating a face mechon, who he as well as the party see as their sworn enemies. He also gets hints of his tragic past as a soldier of the Bionis when Metal Fates taunts him during their many altercations, only to reveal himself as Dunban's comrade, Mumkar, who's now consumed by power, greed, and vengeance towards Dunban for being the original chosen hero of the Minato. The cutscene of Dunban confronting Mumkar always sends chills down my spine. I can sense the tragedy, disbelief, and anger in his words. And in their final fight at Sword Valley, we see Dunban's true rage release. Fueled with resentment, he slashes out at Mumkar for all that he has done, killing his sister, ravaging his home, abandoning him on the battlefield. It all leads to this. But with some wise words from Shulk, Dunban realizes what he's doing and why it must not be done. Compared to some other members of the party, you can say Dunban doesn't have that much time to shine, but during the beginning and middle parts of the game, his character is given a lot of time to develop into a much better warrior, comrade, mentor, and friend to his fellow party members. Number 8, Jin from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I initially wasn't a fan of Jin. Yeah, he looks cool and gives off the Kingdom Hearts vibes, thanks to Tetsuya Nomura, but for the longest time in the game I was so confused as to what his motivation was with his terrorist organization Torna. Like, why destroy the world? What is this guy's past? Slowly but surely we're given more and more information about this badass sword-wielding ice blade. Jin overall is a great villain and a fantastic adversary for Rex, someone who does not fully understand and see Rex's optimistic and forward-thinking view, but once actually did. About halfway into the game, we find out Jin is a flesh eater, a blade who has consumed some of the life force of their driver to give them additional power but thus limit their lifespan. After the death of his driver Laura by the Indoline Praetorium, Jin vows revenge on Praetor Amalthus and the architect himself. Jin's lost faith in humanity after seeing the atrocities committed and being convinced by Malos that most humans are indeed corrupt individuals. This is an interesting contrast to Rex's optimism, as Rex wants to see the architect and ask him to create the ideal world for everyone to live in within Elysium, where there's no war, no hatred, and though Jin's methods and motivations are extreme, his memories of Laura urge him to commit to what he believes in. Ultimately, Jin trusts in Rex's beliefs in a better world in the end. A better world where corrupt, evil, and misguided people like Amalthus do not reign in terror, and with Jin's last breaths, he dies a hero, saving Rex and his friends from Amalthus's maniacal ways and avenging the death of his beloved Laura. Number 7. Shulk from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Shulk is one of my favorite protagonists in a game ever. I see him as someone who not only is relatable, but who grows as a character. Shulk isn't some boisterous and buff Chad protagonist like some other games have. He's actually nerdy, smart, and oftentimes soft-spoken and introverted. Dixon even tells him to get out of the house and touch some grass.
Shulk, you're spending too much time in the lab. Either that or rummaging for junk in the scrapyard. It ain't healthy for a kid your age. That's why you're always looking so pasty. You should get out, get some fresh air once in a while.
Where Shulk shines is after the raid on Colony 9. You can see that he would do anything to avenge his fallen friends and family. But he isn't blinded by rage and revenge just because he wants the Mechon to pay. He truly wants to understand what this conflict is, why it started, and how it can be stopped. Shulk's connection to Zanza was shocking and somewhat sad. Being shot in the back by your father figure, realizing you were a pawn for a tyrannical god, and that your existence probably amounted to nothing is not something anyone wants to experience, but understanding all of this, Shulk realizes how he can overcome what is in front of him and his friends and shape a better future for tomorrow. What I love the most about him is after killing Zanza, Shulk has essentially reached the status of God, but he revokes it. He tells Alvis he wants a world with no gods. A place where he and his friends can live in peace, with no worries about being pawns and mere puppets for an all-powerful evil being. This humility makes me appreciate Shulk even more as a truly great protagonist. Number 6 is Alvis from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Alvis is shrouded in mystery from the moment you see him. How can this random dude use the Monado with no training? Where does he come from? How can he see the future like Shulk? Why is he always so vague and mysterious? So many questions surrounding this man. Alvis doesn't really develop as a character. He's basically a lore dump character, but it's done very well. He doesn't bombard you with exposition and backstory and lore all at once, but more interestingly, he drops hints and foreshadows events to come that have already passed, which our characters know nothing about surrounding the worlds of Bionis and Mechonis. The whole entirety of Xenoblade 1, I was thinking, are they gonna explain Alvis's backstory and where he came from? They do, and it's weird, but at the same time very awesome, and kind of makes perfect sense. Klaus's experiment to form a new and perfect world was powered by, in his own words, an administrative computer of a phase transition experiment facility. This computer was none other than Alvis himself, who thus, after the creation of this new universe, created the Titans, Bionis and Mechonis, and then gave power to their gods, Zanza and Maineth, respectively, by bestowing them with physical forms and their own Monados. Something even cooler is we find out that Klaus's supercomputer that created the world of Xenoblade 1 and 2 consisted of 3 Trinity cores, Ontos, Logos, and Pneuma. Logos and Pneuma are revealed to be the cores of the blades Malos and Pyra and Mithra, respectively, 2 powerful Aegis blades in the world of Xenoblade 2. The architect in Xenoblade 2 actually revealed to be Klaus himself. Heavily implies that Ontos is Alvis, since he triggers a space-time transition event to move on from the world of Allrest over to the worlds of Bionis and Mechonis. After being used to create the world of Xenoblade 2, Ontos, or Alvis, transitions over to Klaus's newly created pocket dimension to create land, titans, gods, and life.